Hey, what's going on guys, and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we are going to be doing a little setup and then also doing a tarantula rehousing. Now the tarantula we're going to be rehousing will be my Pterinochilus Murinus, which is the orange baboon tarantula, also known as the orange baby thing. My OBT is a little bit chill compared to, let's say, the reputation that they've got, but it is a little bit bulky, so safe to say I'm still not looking forward to it, even though it is a chilled tarantula. But anyways guys, we are going to be setting up an enclosure for it. It's going to be going into its forever home. Is kind of too big for the one it's in. I never really got the chance to sort of rehouse it when it was around about an inch, but that was mainly just because things happened, personal things. But now we're here and we're rehousing them, we're giving them his forever enclosure. So his forever enclosure is just this right here. Just ignore the writing that's on it. It did have a tarantula in it, which we are packaging up and sending away because it is matured out male. For those that don't know, that was my Nandu Colorado Velocis, which is the Brazilian black and white tarantula. It hooked out male, I think it was around about 3 days ago now. But someone's interested, so we just moved them into an aqueduct sized enclosure, but he's just in a pretty basic tub since we're not going to have him for long, but hopefully we will end up with some of his slings. Anyways guys, let's get straight into the video. Right guys, so this is the enclosure here. Now it has already got substrate in. I put the substrate in last night or so because obviously it was still damp. I left it overnight under a heat source to sort of dry it out that little bit more. It's still quite moist at the very bottom, but that's fine because when you look at any desert, for example, dig a few feet into the ground, you're going to hit moisture. Even in the Sahara Desert, you're going to hit moisture once you get so far down into the sand. You always will, no matter what. That's pretty much why the majority of desert species burrow as well. That way they've got that little bit of moisture during dry seasons. Let's say if the animals come in the shed or molt, etc, etc. But in terms of the substrate, what we have for the substrate, it is a little bit of leftover stone desert that I had. So it's pretty much just sand. It's all it really is, to be honest, is what we'll put in my Scorpio palmatus enclosure, minus the excavator clay. This does have a tiny amount of excavator clay in it, not much to the point where it's going to be like a clay based sand. It's literally just a sort of bit of excess because I recycled some of the leftovers that I had from my Scorpio palmatus, and I thought we'll just stick it in here. It's not going to harm, it's not going to make it completely solid. It's still going to be relatively loose, especially for the fact that we've also mixed in that sand with topsoil, cocoa fiber, and then there's another one as well. I can't remember exactly what I put in it. It was a little bit of recycled sort of compost like topsoil, I'd like to say, but it wasn't really topsoil. You might know what I mean. It wasn't topsoil, but it was similar. It wasn't coconut fibre, but it was a type of soil. We had a bit of some like leaves and bits of like you say rubbish, but like sort of leaves and twigs and bits of wood and all that in it. So got about 25% sand, probably another 25% cocoa fibre, and the rest is pretty much just topsoils. That's all we've got for substrate. Now, anyways guys, I'm gonna do a quick time lapse. Obviously, as you know, I've already put the substrate in. Background, styrofoam backgrounds, I'm not 100% keen on them, but we're just gonna keep it in anyway. It's there, we might as well use it. Obviously in enclosures that I don't have a background for, I will make my own background. That'll be a lot better than these. But for now, we're just sticking with this since we've already got it. It's not going to do the T any harm. I mean the OBT, the Tarantula, it might decide it wants to chew a bit off, but again, completely fine. So just going to leave that in there for the background. Anyways guys, I'm going to do a quick time lapse of me setting this enclosure up. Right guys, so that's the enclosure here. I'll just spin it around, ignore the mess on the floor. I've kind of forgot how messy mixing substrates and things are. Let's just lift that up. 2 seconds guys, I need to fix my tripod a little. There we are. Awesome. So, this is the enclosure right here. Now, got a skull in. I thought that was very fitting for an OBT because the typical attitude of an OBT, they are very defensive. A lot of people mistake that for aggression, but there's no such thing as an aggressive tarantula. The defensive, to them, you're a threat, and they don't know whether you're going to kill it or eat it. So it's defensive, but I thought it was very fitting because every video I've seen of an extremely defensive OBT, it literally looks as if they want to kill you. So I thought the skull was very fitting. Obviously, I've got like a cactus kind of coming out of it. That it is pretty sure the common name is mistletoe cactus. Can't remember the scientific name. but the genus that one is mistletoe. I thought it would be a suitable plant to put in, because I've only ever had to water it. Well, my main plant I've only had to ever water once a month at a push, which, to be honest, that'll be completely fine for an OBT. Obviously they like it dry, but sort of having a kind of moist layer sort of the very bottom isn't going to harm it, because that's what it'll be in the wild. And OBTs, although they are like classed as a semi-arboreal tarantula, they are a terrestrial tarantula that are found in burrows in the wild in Africa, and they show sort of semi-arboreal tendencies. In the wild they've been spotted sort of in burrows but webbing up like a tree at the same time. So I thought that plant would be quite fitting, because it just means I need to overflow the water dish every so often, and the roots will find the water. The other one over there is an aloe squarosa. It looks sharp, it really isn't. Oh, I just knocked the tripod. It's soft, ridiculously soft. Squeezing it and everything here, and they're literally just folding. Obviously a tarantula's abdomen is a lot more delicate than human skin, but it won't puncture the abdomen at all. It is ridiculously soft. Like it's not even pointy. The bits that look really pointy, they just aren't. So I thought that would be okay to put in. Obviously, again, that one, it doesn't need watered a lot, because it's like an aloe vera plant type of plant. Another type of cactus. Now, any sort of cacti plants do not need watered often. They're often found in sort of deserts, dry areas where they get quite constant and prolonged dry seasons and droughts. So again, I thought it would be a fitting plant to sort of put in with the OBT. I mean, the OBT is probably going to use them as anchor points, web over them, and they're probably going to die. But that doesn't bother me. Obviously, these are just sort of cut-offs of my main plants, so I'm going to have a forever supply of them. And if they die, it's just going to sort of add a like fitting theme of death to go with the human skull, which I think would look pretty amazing. But if they stay alive, that'd also be amazing. Now, obviously, I've got a bit of cork bark here, sort of underneath the skull. There is a hole in the back of the skull that the OBT can crawl in. It can make its funnel come out of, sort of crawl in, hide in, things like that. The eye holes, it can get through them without a problem. Any rule with a tarantula, if the carapace can get through, then the tarantula can get through the hole. Because abdomens, well, it might be fat one day, but the next day it could be really skinny. Obviously not that quick, but you'll understand what I'm saying. Got a bit of cork bark here. Again, that's sort of got a tunnel going in sort of that way a little bit, and in the back here, a bit of bark sort of on the top of that. Got like a very ridiculously light stone, wait, not stone, a large pebble, shall we say. Again, just another anchor point for the OBT to put some webs on and things like that. As you've seen us do before, I've got a water dish down there, filled that up with water. Bit of bark sort of mixed into the top layer of soil, like the very thin top layer, sort of make it look like a tree, sort of bit of bark's come off a tree, and that's this. And then over time it's just been sort of spitting bark down, or something been chewing the bark. But yeah, so hope you guys do like the look of this enclosure. I absolutely love it. Not gonna lie, this here was an absolute pain in the arse to try and plant. As you might have seen, that's probably going to be the longest part of my time lapse yet. Anyways guys, let's get the OBT in its new enclosure. So guys, that's the OBT in its enclosure. It went and hit in the skull straight away. So unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to get any good shots of it. I don't want to entice it. I might be able to just be able to sort of see it in 2 seconds. Might, if I can get the camera sort of in, maybe not. Right, we'll try this way. So oh, sorry guys, didn't mean to cover yours up. I don't know if I can get a good sort of thingy of them. Bear with me 2 seconds guys, I'll just go switch the torch on. Right, so there, you can just about see them in there. We're not going to entice him out so we can show you him in his enclosure. Obviously your rehouse will be stressful enough, so we're just going to leave him at hide, get used to his new enclosure and new surroundings, and then that'll be it. Hopefully we'll see some amazing webs in a few days time. Right guys, so that is it for today's video. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now, we've obviously rehoused my OBT RCF. For those that don't know, RCF just means red colour form. So yeah, my orange baboon tarantula, the Pterinochilus Murinus, is a red colour form. Absolutely stunning species of tarantula, I must not lie. Now anyways guys, for those that are wondering, you've seen this video, now you really want an OBT. If you haven't got one, I will just let you know that although mine was super chill in the video, my heart was still racing, mind, but she was super chill. I tried to get her in the catch cup first, but then she went down into her burrow, so I thought I'd just take out her web, and there she was sitting on the piece of cork bark that she's buried over the few months. So just pick the cork bark out, obviously with tweezers. Would not recommend using your hands with any old world species of tarantula, especially one that has a reputation like an OBT. So always use tweezers or just something, but try getting in the catch cup first. Wouldn't go in the catch cup, then went in its burrow, so I just picked out a bit of cork bark it was on, put it in the enclosure, and like you've seen, I just nudged her off and she was completely chill. She is probably the most chill OBT that I have ever seen, I'm not going to lie, but my heart really does start pumping when I'm dealing with her, and that's just something I love. The things I love about old world tarantulas is they really do get your heart racing, because you know what they can be like, you know what other people's old world tarantulas are like, and you could have a chill one, but just knowing what they can be like, and the fact that they're also known to be Houdinis, the blink of an eye, they're not there, they're gone. I didn't even realise she was still in the enclosure when she went in the skull. That's how quick she went in. I literally blinked and she was gone. But yeah, it's just something about Old Worlds really gets my heart pumping, and I absolutely love them for that reason. Obviously, you've always got to be mindful, respect them, and they'll respect you, just like everything in nature. Treat it with respect, and nature back will respect you. But wouldn't recommend an OBT for a beginner. Not telling you you can't do it, just wouldn't recommend it. But if you do have an OBT, you might be a little bit scared to rehouse it, so you're not going to rehouse it. Best advice I can give, just go ahead, do it. Make sure you've got at least 2 catch cups handy. That way you can sort of try get them in one, and then you've got the other one handy in case it decides to run and the first one just kind of fails. And then get it in the enclosure that way. But get a strong mindset on, stay calm, respect the tarantula, and you'll get some amazing, awesome rewards with it. But like I say, I wouldn't recommend them for an Old World tarantula for a beginner. Definitely wouldn't recommend any Old World tarantulas for a beginner. But when you're dealing with them, respect them, clear mindset, never handle them. Obviously, you can handle it at your own risk, but I will say this now, I really wouldn't want you to, especially with an OBT like quite a few Old Worlds. The venom on an OBT is medically significant and it can cause quite a lot of pain. Can't kill you, but it does hurt. But anyways guys, that's it for today's video. We really hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one.